Dear viewer, we wish you a pleasant journey through this thread of answers. What is it like to black out? Drugs, alcohol, medical issues, etc.? I don't remember. No way, same here. All this time I thought I was alone. Me too. Blackout drunk is the only one I've experienced. One moment you are enjoying yourself. The next you are waking up with little memory of what occurred over the last few hours. You have to talk to others to stitch together what you do remember and try to work out what you did. Then you say, I did what? Once they respond, you say Friend brought up Carl's Jr. randomly the next day. I had to ask him why, as I don't like Carl's Jr. Apparently I was raving about how good Carl's Jr. is the night before. It's like falling asleep while still awake. Happened 3 days ago. This is it perfectly. When you are laying down and you don't realize you fell asleep until you wake up. Except when you wake up from a blackout, usually your first thought is, how did I get here? Then what was the last thing I remember? Then you hear from friends that you were hugging lampposts and being funny. You have no memories of this. People often confuse a blackout with passing out. Oh no, when you black out you are still physically awake, but your short-term memory is gone. If you are ever with someone and are worried they have blacked out, ask them a simple question you know that they can toss away. For me, who has, regrettably, blacked out drinking, it doesn't really feel like anything. You wake up having no memory of a certain chunk of the night before. It kinda sucks because the only way you can know for certain what happened is to see a video / some pictures, but those are always embarrassing. This, specifically, is why I don't drink large quantities of alcohol anymore. People who don't black out can sometimes act like they don't believe you, too. My boyfriend, a bartender, has never blacked out, and it took him years to see how troubling it was when I did, because I would have zero memory of entire parties but people wouldn't think I was even that drunk. A blackout is when your conscience goes into a witness protection program. Robin Williams. For those of you who don't know what that is, blacking out is when you drink so much that your brain goes to sleep, but your body gets all Eye of the Tiger and Soldiers on John Mullaney. You ever drink so much you black out, or as I like to call it, time travel? Dave Attell. Crappy and scary. You wake up not knowing how you got there. You try to remember the last thing you can and piece together what happened. You usually acted like a complete effing a-hole between then and waking up. Yep, I used to black out at my dealer's house a lot. I would wake up not knowing what happened. For me, I was never an butthole to people but usually got taken advantage of. Sometimes I would wake up naked or just in my panties not knowing what he or his clients did to me. Damn, I hope you're in a better situation now. Blacking out is like time traveling. Forward a bit and not fun. It can be fun sometimes. It's cool when everyone's recollection of a great night comes back slowly over separate fragments of stories from multiple people coming together to form the full picture. But can definitely have the opposite effect if the night was complete poop. Not fun. First off, you don't remember anything, so you can't enjoy it. Second, the other physical symptoms you experience like nausea and vomiting are unpleasant. Definitely not fun. I blacked out due to low blood pressure caused by chemo-induced anemia. I was standing in the bedroom, talking with my wife. She tells me it was as if someone hit my off switch mid-sentence and down I went. 911 was called, but I had somewhat recovered by the time they arrived. 2 units of whole blood later and I felt much better. After that, my next several chemo sessions included 1 or 2 units of blood as well, until my red blood cell count stayed high enough that I no longer needed it. I blacked out during in-home hemodialysis a few times and a few times at the in-center. It's scary as frick, and a few times I thought I was dying. Basically, my vision would start to get black from the sides inward and you can't stand up and your brain starts to go blank and your knees buckle under your weight if you're still standing. It freaked my wife out and I woke up completely disoriented each time and completely drained. I also have been under anesthesia a bunch of times. It's way different. It feels like the time you missed never happened. Your brain's inner clock doesn't log it as if you were asleep. Spot on description. I've never been able to describe why going under anesthesia feels different than sleeping, but you put it perfectly. Sometimes you spend $6 at a strip club and can't remember it the next take until you look at your credit card bill. Holy frick, I am glad I am way too much of a Scrooge to ever do that. Yup. Even when effed up, I'm like, hey guys, if we carry out it's cheaper than paying for delivery. As far as I can tell, when you're blackout drunk, you're still sort of functioning, It's just your brain is so damaged at that point that your memory stops recording. So when you try to recollect the event, there's nothing there because your brain was unable to form a memory. I don't know how true that is, but it's an explanation I've heard before. It's consistent with my experience. I have been blackout drunk before, but a video of me, that I cannot recollect, shows me functioning as though I'm just very drunk. To be honest, it was kind of disturbing to see. I'll equate it more to your brain stops worrying about short-term memory and focuses on keeping you alive. I've blacked out a few times and seen plenty of people black out. With some people, I can tell what point they won't remember anything. With my brother, when he starts repeating stuff every 5 minutes and keeps saying it is what it is, I know he's not gonna remember any of that. If you want to black out, drink a lot in a short amount of time. If you don't want to black out, space it out. Someone told me that I should experience it. Reading comments, I'm not convinced. I've blacked out exactly once. It's not really necessary. It's exactly like being regular drunk, except you don't get to hold on to all the fun memories, and it's a little scary because you don't remember how you got from your last memory to waking up. I've also never met anyone who acts differently in a fun way or has a better time when they transition between regular drunk and blackout drunk. They're either exactly the same, and no one knows they've blacked out, or they're sloppy and barely awake, so you need to babysit them. Being sober or drinking moderately is preferable. I got blackout drunk a few times in college. It's not like a specific feeling. You were just enjoying yourself one day, and then all of a sudden it's the next day and you're lying in bed with a sweaty stranger and your bra is missing for some reason. You're completely unaware of anything until you wake up and you're confused as hell. I found the most disorienting thing was that initially, I had zero sense of how much time had passed. 1 second? 1 minute? 1 hour? 1 day? No clue, and it takes a little while to fully get your bearings. As it turned out, I only black out for about a minute, but during that time I still had enough time to have a dream. It felt like waking up from a deep sleep, but I had no idea about anything. From John Mullaney, for those of you who don't know what that is, blacking out is when you drink so much that your brain goes to sleep, but your body gets all eye of the tiger and soldiers on. I'll tell you about blacking out. It was always weird when I'd go out for the night with like some money, and then black out and wake up with no money. It was even weirder, though, when I went out for the night with some money, black out, and wake up with more money. Because that means that I earned money. That means that I traded goods and or services. Which is scary. Scary, but sometimes I'd almost be proud of it, you know? Like, wow, I turned $20 into $100. I am a financial wizard. Like, I would like to give people money advice now, but I don't know how that would go, you know? Like they would just be like, John, we're looking to get rich quick, and I'd be like, well, have you tried mixing daiquiris with Ambien? They're like, does that work? I'm like, it did not work. What would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.